This is Dr. D, and this is the first edition of Don't Practice the Etude. My goal with these little practice snippets is to teach you how to practice the components of your etude that might be holding you back, so that when you do practice through your whole etude, everything is nice and seamless. So we're starting with page 69 in the Artistic Studies book edited by David Height. This is number 24. And many of you probably already have a start on this etude, but we're not going to do the etude. We're just going to start in the pieces of the etude, and I'm going to give you some practice ideas. So we're starting with measure 6, 7, and the downbeat of measure 8. A lot of students have a little bit of trouble with this, mostly because it's tricky. You have two patterns going on. You have an almost chromatic scale that's not completely chromatic in your eighth notes. And you also have an interrupted accompaniment of those B flats, those pesky B flats that keep coming back. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice the line without the B flats and gradually add in the B flats. So this is what this sounds like from the and of 1 in measure 6 to the downbeat of measure 8, just with your eighth notes. Again. So again, you have really just a chromatic scale. The difference is on beat 2 of measure 7, you actually go from F natural to E flat. So if you haven't marked that E flat from the key signature, you might want to, because if you're thinking about a chromatic scale, you could possibly mistakenly play an E natural there. So write it in if you need it. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to add in the B flats little by little in what's called add-on practice. So play the first part with me. I'll play it a little bit slower and I'll count you off and it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 1. Ready? 1, 2, 1. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 1. All right, you can stop the recording and repeat that as many times as you like. My first teacher used to tell me to practice it 10 times in a row correctly. If you can't play it 10 times in a row correctly, that means there's too many notes in your group, so break it into pieces. Or that the tempo is just too fast, so slow it down if you need to. Now we're going to try to do the same thing a little bit faster. 1, 2, 1. One, 2, 1. All right, again. 1, 2, 1. Good. Rewind and play in repetition if you'd like. The next step is to add on one of your accompanimental B flats. I'm going to start with the end because most students have more problems trying to get all the way through this to a nice landing on the D. So I call this dismount work, when you work things in backwards. We're going to play the same thing we just played, but add the B flat that's the last B flat in measure 7. I'll play it once, nice and slow, and then I'll count you in. One, 2, 1. One, 2, 1. One more for good luck. 1, 2, 1. And one time faster. 1, 2, 1. Good. You can stop the recording and play that at whatever tempo is comfortable as many times as you need to. Now we're going to go on to the second B flat. So back up one more note. We're going to play F, B flat, E flat, B flat, D at the end of that measure. Can you try that once? And go. All right, good. This is a little bit tricky if you don't have great hand position. So a couple of rules to remember. You should be using your thumb at a 2 o'clock angle so that the top left edge of your thumb hits the bottom right edge of your register key in a rocking motion. If you're climbing up the register key, it's going to slow you down when you play B flats, especially getting to the next note. The second hand thing to remember is you've got to have good rolling motion from your left hand first finger into your A key when you play B flat. That's called the rock and roll. If you want more information about rock and roll technique, I have 2 books on my website for purchase. One of them is hand position and one of them is hand motion, and that's at MADclarinet.com. And it kind of gives you a lot of pictures and a lot of rules about hands and how to use them on the clarinet. So try that last beat with me in measure 7. F, B flat, E, B flat, D, and go. And go. One more. Okay, good. Now we're going to add that in to the chromatic line you started at the beginning. It'll sound like this, a little slower. Ready? And 2, and go. One, and 2, and go. Good. Stop. Rewind it if you'd like to get more repetitions, or if you'd like to play at a slower tempo. Now we're going to try the same thing a little faster. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. All right, we're going to keep doing this method. Now we're going to play G flat to B flat on the and of 1 in measure 7. So we'll start just with that figure. I like to use my first finger G flat here because it's chromatic motion and we practiced chromatic motion before. Some people actually prefer to use thumb and side keys. It doesn't matter, but whatever fingering you choose, it has to be clean, so no little gaps or blips. Here's what we'll play this time. G flat, B flat, F, B flat, E flat, B flat, D. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. Good, and now put it in the line. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 1. And a little faster. 1, 2, 1. You guys are being super patient. If you're still with me, great job with your patience. All right, now we're going to play all of measure 7 this time. Play it with me, just that measure. Ready, and go, and go. Go. Good. Watch your rock and roll in that thumb and first finger and try to keep all those blips out of those fingers. All right, let's put it in the line. 1, 2, 1. Again. 1, 2, 1. almost done. Now we're going to start from the front to make sure that our entry into this phrase is nice and smooth to connect to our dismount. So we're just going to start on the downbeat of measure 6 and add on our method into the downbeat of measure 7. So I want you to do this. I'll play that again. Ready? And play it with me. Ready? Go. Again. Again. Okay, you can stop and repeat that if you'd like. Now we're going to add the last B flat in that measure. I'll play it once and then you can join in. I think I added too many. Let me try that again. That's it. Ready and go and again. Again. One more. Now add that last B flat. So it's A, B flat, A flat, B flat, and G. 1, 2, ready, and again. Again. One more, and all right, take a deep breath. We now have all the pieces to put this together. Make sure your music's marked clearly. Make sure that you're taking a good breath, your hands are in good position, and you're ready for all of these side keys. We'll start slow. And go, and go, and go, and good. Now we'll do a little quicker. 1, 2, ready? Ready, go. Ready, go. One more. Ready, go. You guys have done great. You have learned some dismount practice and some add-on practice and using tempo and repetition to your advantage. And also do not forget about great hand position and great hand motion to help you get through these tricky spots. Great job.